want to welcome our friends on TikTok. Good morning, TikTok. But Nadine,
Yes, sir.
as usual,
Of course.
you have something for me.
We do.
What is it?
Hi.
We're gonna surprise them.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
So let's say hi to the people.
Hi.
Let us hear it.
Right. So coming up, a favorite of our guest this morning.
Where did you find
We find
that
it.
song?
We find it.
I hear that minister is on our way, but we have her online just in case he's on our way. Minister, good morning, Minister.
Good morning, Minister Morgan.
Good. We went and we dug down into the depths of gospel and found a song for you.
I noticed. I noticed that.
Many people don't know about your relationship with Kukudu, you know.
Oh boy, I tell you, I produce Cockatoo. I mean, he's very special to me. I'm about to produce another song, Jubilee, with him.
Yes. So,
Yes.
so online we have Minister of Sports, Culture, Gender and Sports. Did I miss anything, Minister?
Yes, it's culture, gender, entertainment, and sport.
We have the Minister.
And anything else that you don't know where to put it. I guess.
So, Minister, you're very busy, I know. And yesterday you had your sectoral presentation where you. The thing I wanted to ask you before we go everywhere else is that
Yes.
soon there will be no more bleachers. You will be covering up the bleachers section so people don't have to sit in the sun.
That's right. In the redevelopment plan for the National Stadium complex, we will be putting in an additional 10,000 seats.
Mm-hmm.
The bleacher areas will be covered, semi-covered, just like the grandstand is now covered.
Right.
To that extent, the bleachers will be covered. We will have a new royal box. And so what I could say, we'll have an additional space for officials. And in addition to that, we will have a new velodrome so we can return cycling to its former glory. The cycling. And so we will be doing a modern enclosed velodrome.
Right.
And in addition to that, we're establishing and setting up the sports museum.
A sports museum? Yeah, we heard about it before, but I'm surprised that we don't have a sports museum in Jamaica. After having such an amazing generations upon generations of athletes and sportsmen.
This effort, has a lot of effort has been made over the years to establish it. But as I said in my presentation yesterday, we are going to set things right. And so we will break ground for the sports museum. We have a design. We have an in-house architect that has been working on the design. We have gone through the PIAB, which is the Public Investment Management Agency. We have been through that, and the minister has committed to providing us with the funds to take it to the next level. That means we're going to have architectural drawings and all the things that are necessary, funded, so that we can now go to construction, go to procurement and construction.
So for the first time in the history of Jamaica, 60 odd years of independence, we're finally going to have a space where we can celebrate our athletes and people can go, students and Jamaicans and members from the diaspora can go and read about the history of all our athletes and the history of Jamaica's significant contribution to the world of sports.
That's right. And it's going to be interactive. So it's going to be quite an interesting exhibition. We will have a number of artifacts. We have been collecting.
Yes.
I should tell you this. We have been collecting artifacts, and they're in the keep and care of the Institute of Jamaica, which is the entity that is responsible for national museums.
Right.
So we did some training as well with our athletes and persons who would find themselves in a position to secure and preserve the artifacts that we will have in the sports museum. So we have gone quite a bit. We have done quite a bit so far in collecting artifacts. I'm making a special appeal now to anyone who's listening. If you are an athlete or you're a collector or you can, don't treat anything as being unimportant or it's only so and so. Anything that you can find. If you can find a ticket that you got from attending the Olympics how many years ago, whatever you can find, those are important artifacts in ensuring that we're able to document our history. We're also doing a series of documentaries on various sports personalities. Those who are past and the current ones. As you know, we have done the statues, so we are going to have miniature statues also in the museum. It's really an exciting project.
Minister, how many statues have you done since you've been minister in 2016?
Boy, I'm going to have to count.
Let us count together.
Yes.
Usain Bolt.
Yes, 1.
Shelley-Ann Fraser.
2.
Asafa Powell.
3.
You did the Marcus Garvey one you did?
We did Louise Bennett.
Louise Bennett up in Garden Town in the square there. That is right. 4.
We have done Aunt Henri, the lady who lived to be 117, the oldest woman in the world at one stage.
That is 5, right?
Yes, we have done Aggie Bernard, who was involved in the struggles of the and the Bob Marley statue that is by Roosevelt Avenue, Alphabet Drive.
Right.
I did that statue.
But that was long ago, though.
That was long ago, so I've been doing statues under Prime Minister Edward Seaga.
Yes, I don't know if you want to go through the story about that statue, because I hear there's a story about that statue.
Well, there are 2 statues involved here.
Right.
Mr. Seaga called me one day and he said, Babsy, I have the right sculpture to do the Bob Marley statue. He's Rastafarian, he has the passion, and he's very creative. So Mr. Seaga convened a meeting with Christopher Gonzalez and myself. Renowned sculpture, excellent sculpture. So the statue was commissioned.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is in Jamaica, and we are about to mount it so that we can have official unveiling.
So that's
I'm at the location.
Yes.
With the statue.
Yes.
It's being mounted, and a huge crowd gathered.
Right.
And they were so upset
with the statue.
With the statue, because they said, look like Scorpion come out on head, and look like Sheep and all kind of things. Right. So it was so scary that Christopher rushed to his vehicle and locked himself in.
Yes.
Well, of course, I called Mr. Fred and I said, sir, you need to come because the people here are getting very upset and very hostile.
So the locks, they said the locks look like Scorpion.
Yes. So Mr. Fred came, quieted down the people and told them that he would commission another statue.
So there are 2 statues.
There are 2 statues. Now the art community was quite upset about that.
Right.
Because they felt, it was an insult to Christopher. But Mr. Seaga appreciated his work, but said that you have to listen to the people.
So where is the other statue now?
The other statue is now at the National Gallery.
Hold on, let Miss Grange is actually here right now. You can have it. Auntie Babs. How are you?
Yes, I'm good.
All right, perfect. So we're on. So welcome. So let us welcome Minister Grange, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. Thank you for making it. I know you have a very packed schedule. So she's here with us in the studio, and we still have the orange mic. We're gonna have to work on that.
It's tangerine.
It's tangerine.
Yes, there's another story about that.
Right. So
which I'll tell you.
You were telling us that there are actually 2 Bob Marley statues. So the one that we see on Roosevelt Avenue is not the first one; it's the second one.
It's the second one.
And you did both of them.
We did both. So the original statue is now in at the National Gallery. If you go out front, it is right there. Right. And it's quite an attraction. Visitors come, they take pictures, and it's a work of art.
Mm-hmm.
So we now have to get a second statue done.
You're going to have to do another statue, yes.
That's right. So the other statue now, nobody wanted in the art community to touch it. Nobody wanted to, because they're upset that Christopher has been disrespected.
Right.
So eventually we found Alvin Marriott, the late Alvin Marriott, who is like the master.
Right.
He suffered from Parkinson's disease. We went to him. In fact, he is the uncle of former permanent secretary, Macaulay Sinclair.
Right.
Went to him, he said, well, if I do it, my colleagues are going to be upset.
Right.
But Mr. Seaga, you asked me to.
Right.
And I want to see if I can do it, and that will be my last work.
So that's the last.
It's last. Yes, but he said, I will not do it in Jamaica. If you can make a to go somewhere. So we made arrangements for him to go to the UK.
Right.
We got him a nice flat.
Right.
And myself and Neville Garrick, who was Bob Marley's court artist, we would periodically check him.
Right.
The marvelous thing about it is that when he was working, he would not shake.
Oh, so Parkinson's makes you shake, but when he was making this,
but when he was making, and he'd climb up, and he would, and it's a wonderful work of art, as you see.
Yes.
The ring on Bob Marley's finger was a ring given to him by Haile Selassie.
Oh, he's imperial.
And he gave Lever Garrick the honor of carving the ring.
Okay. Wow.
So, of course,
when did I write the book?
Oh, soon, hopefully. But it was quite an experience, and people embraced the new statue.
Yes.
What I don't know if you have noticed, though, the guitar, all the strings are gone. Strings were there.
So somebody take off the string?
Yeah. All the strings are gone.
So you have to be careful. They might take the statue next time.
If they could move it, they would. So I should mention here that I am getting a digital. It's a process where you can get a digital form of the statue, because the interesting thing, in those days, we did not ask for maquettes. We didn't ask for a miniature. But I learned my lesson, because now all those statues, the sculptor has to give me a miniature, and the family has to approve. So the person of whom the statue is being done has to approve, say, yes, this is fine. So when Usain Bolt's statue is being unveiled, Usain says, I'm happy with it, right down to the toes.
Yeah, but I think that one of the things we grew up, and we're going to talk about reparations and slavery. We grew up, when we came to town, the only people that we really saw were statues of kings and queens, and we never saw statues of our kings and queens, who are our players of instruments and our athletes and our leaders. And I'm very happy that you have taken it on. I think you probably have created more statues than any other culture minister in the Caribbean, or probably the Western Hemisphere.
That is so.
You need to write the book.
Yes, I will.
So, Ms. Grange, so your ministry.
Well, one of my proudest moments too was the unveiling of the Miss Lou statue.
That was an amazing statue, though.
Yes.
I see a lot of people when I ride. Sometimes I ride around the statue. It's a point of reference. It's a historical. But you also got the Blue and Junker Mountains inscribed. But
what's interesting too about that, I did all the work. It was deferred for us to just tweak some aspect of it, because it's a mixed heritage.
Right.
And then we lost the elections.
And so the other minister came in.
Yes.
But you did all the well, that's the nature of government sometimes. So
yes.
So why is it important? And a lot of people may not understand what.
But we still support.
Right.
We still support the management. We provide them with funding. We give them a subvention to maintain
what does
the heritage part.
What does it mean to have a era like that inscribed as a World Heritage Site? What significance is it to people of Jamaica?
It is important. It becomes an attraction, a tourist attraction.
Right.
So, because people all over the world, heritage tourism is huge. But it also provides a certain pride, national pride, when you know that you have monuments that form part of a World Heritage, experience. It is important that our people know what we have and the special things we have been gifted with.
Right.
And so it instills pride. It provides the kind of information that makes you understand from whence you came, where you are, where you're going, and to value yourself and your country.
So you're the Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sports. We've touched a lot on sports, and I'm going to touch back on sports some more, but I want to start off with culture. You are essentially the culture mama of Jamaica. You visit all the entertainment events. You're working with the Maroons. You're working with all the other indigenous groups. You've been around a little bit. How has our culture evolved, and how has your ministry help to promote the culture, not just locally but internationally? I saw yesterday you had a list of local people who came to Jamaica to really teach people in the arts and so on. Some of them were Jamaican, some were not, which is a good exchange of ideas between persons in different fields. Yeah. But tell us about some of the initiatives that your ministry has been doing to help to promote the culture both locally and internationally.
Well, first I would say that I'm a product of the culture.
Right.
Born and raised in the heart of downtown Kingston, West Kingston.
Really?
So right above Carnation Market.
So you're a Kingston baby?
Yes, I'm a Kingstonian. I know you're a Clarendonian.
We're from the better place. Yes.
But just growing up in that environment prepared me.
But you have been exposed to the emergence of reggae music and ska and all
everything. Because you know what?
Everybody used to know each other back in those days.
Yeah, we lived each other's lives.
Right.
And around us, we had church. You know, interesting, we had churches and bars on every corner. Right? So the spirit was always around us.
Right.
I grew up with the Pentecostal church up the road.
Right.
The New Testament Church of God around the corner. The Church of God down the road. The Seventh-day Adventists on the other side of the road. And the revival churches were all around us.
Is revival and Poco the same thing?
There's a slight difference.
Okay, so when we say Poco church, it's not necessarily revival church.
Well, there is no Poco church anymore.
Right.
In fact, the revival movement now primarily will speak of Zion revival.
Okay.
Which is different from Poco area.
Okay.
Right. But with all of that around me and music, Duke Reed was just up the road from me. And me and my friends, we didn't have living rooms, drawing rooms, and, extra rooms. So our play place was on the sidewalk under the street light. So we'd have concert, we'd have dance, we'd have everything playing, with Duke Reed's music playing. So I grew up in this environment. And then when Mr. Seaga became member of parliament, he bought a property which was a dance hall. And in fact, my great-grandmother lived in that yard. So the rooms are all around, and in the middle was a paved area, and they would have dance. It's called Chuckamo Lawn. And he created a cultural program there, culture, sports, and so on. And so we established the Victor's Youth Club, and out of the Victor's Youth Club came the Techniques, Ken Booth, and it became a hub for entertainment. So I would lift up a young Marcia Griffiths and put her in a flatbed to perform. Right? Yes. And when Jimmy Cliff came from the country, he ended up living at Milk Lane, which is near Giacomo Lawn. So he was all a part of that. And they would come from Trenchtown, Bob and others would come to.
So West Kingston and that era was basically the incubator for Jamaica's reggae music.
That's right. And so you're talking about a music that has evolved. You're talking about Kumina, which has the greatest African retentions.
Right.
And then that's deep. And then you move into revival, which there's a difference between Pocomania and Zion revival. Then you move from that and to Mento. And you move from Mento to ska. And the music evolves. So even now, when you see the dance, you see the movements, if you were to play a revival or a Kumina song, and you match it against modern dance, which we call the latest moves, the bogle and so on, you would find that it's the same roots, the same vibe, the same rhythm. You slow down Kumina and you get the Rastana Bingi. All the same, the roots, and then it has just evolved. And so even with the current trend with people like Valiant, the roots is the same.
Right.
The lyrics may be different, but the vibe is the same. And so when we speak like about a Valiant, what we have to do, we have to try and guide these youngsters in doing the right thing. Where there's a vacuum, it creates an opportunity. We have to close that vacuum. We have to take them along with us. So the music has evolved over the years. And as Mr. Seaga said at one time, when he sent a group of performers to the World's Fair in New York, and we made the front page of the New York Times, and that's how Chris Blackwell signed Jimmy Cliff.
Oh, really?
Because Jimmy Cliff had this great write-up because of his performance. Because he was a part of the group. Mr. Seaga said, for every music in Jamaica, you have a dance. You have a movement. And it is true.
Right. Every dancer song have a dance for real.
Yes. You know, and I mean, you notice that?
Yes, I know. I noticed it.
Yeah. And even with gospel, you know, if you were to play a secular song,
mm-hmm.
and in a church setting, just have the visual of a church setting, and you play the secular song. You watch the movements in the church.
But speaking of
watch the movements in the
but
you want to see my name?
But you and Carleen Davis and Tommy Cowan have been very strong relationship for a very long time, and Tommy Cowan is one of the biggest gospel producers in Jamaica.
But even individuals and personalities have evolved.
Right.
Because Tommy is a perfect example. Tommy was Bob Marley's right hand.
Really?
He worked with Bob.
Right.
Carleen, I managed Carleen, and Carleen grew up in England.
But you used to manage Shabba too?
Yes, and that's another story.
Listen, we're gonna need 2 or 3 or 4 hours. But that Shabba story is a story that needs to be told.
Yes.
But we may not be able to
time.
tell it today. But the culture though, Minister, how is your ministry? Because I know you're out there all the time. How have you been able to be promoting the culture?
Well, you know, they always refer to, say, the Jamaica entertainment scene as informal.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have tried to do is to put some structure into what is an industry.
Right.
So entertainment, culture, and the creative industries are very important. Those are the fastest growing industries in the world.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it's called the orange economy. And at the center of it is people.
Mm-hmm.
So our human resource or people are much more, there's much more energy, much more creativity, and we move at a faster pace than anything else. So the creativity, we have more studios in Jamaica than anywhere else, you know, and we turn out songs all the time in volumes. So what I thought was very important, first and foremost, is to put structures in place. And over the years, in or out of government, that has been my objective. Put structures in place. And maybe that is why I do have the respect right across, because I've just worked diligently over the years to do that. And I would say I have to give Mr. Seaga credit for working with me and helping me to recognize how important it is to have structures in place. So entertainment, people think of entertainment as frivolous, but it's a business. So what we have done, fast track, the ministry has established what we call an e-registry.
Entertainment
registry. And we are about to activate our sports registry. Because we want all our creative people, and we see sports as physical culture. We must have data so that we have empirical information that when we make representation for a larger piece of the pie, we can show empirical data that we are contributing to the growth of the country. We're contributing to GDP. And so here is the information. And it's working because I'm getting more attention from the Minister of Finance.
Which means that you're getting more resources to spend on the culture.
I would say so.
Right.
Sometimes it's challenging, of course, because the pie is so big, and you can't get that much more. But when there is something special and we make representation, we do get it. And more, it is getting less challenging for me to make the representation and get a positive response. So we're getting there. We can't do things overnight, but we're getting there. But the industry itself and the players in the industry also have a responsibility. Every time someone from the entertainment industry dies, it's always an issue, how they're going to be buried. Or there is conflict within the family because they did not plan. There is no estate planning. There is no proper structure of a will and that kind of thing. So we're trying to put some order in the sector, in the industry. And I think we are making progress. We are about to establish an insurance plan for entertainers and cultural practitioners. And when I say entertainers, not just those who play an instrument or write the music, but even the man who lift the box, the technical people, the engineers, and those who work in the industry.
Right. So you are in charge of Grand Gala and the whole independence celebration.
Yes.
What is the theme for independence this year?
Proud and strong.
Proud and strong.
Proud and strong.
So what can we expect this year for Grand Gala? And the whole independence? Because I know you outlined some of it yesterday in your sectoral.
Well, it's always, I remember the GG, the Governor General, always say to me at the end of a gala, he says, well, you have outdone yourself.
So you're going to outdo yourself?
What you're going to come up? So we always work hard to do better each time.
Right.
And we have some interesting things in store.
Right.
This will be the grand closing of the 1 year Jamaica 60 celebration.
Okay.
And then we move into 61.
And I hear you're bringing back drones.
Yes.
How many drones you had the last time, Minister?
We had a little over 200 drones.
And that was the one that did the bird in the sky.
The bird in the sky and the coat of arms and Miss Lou and Usain Bolt. We have some other exciting things. And I'm going to use the opportunity to invite private sector to come on board because we can highlight their logo and their messages. So
one of the things I like about our independence celebration is that in every capital, there is always a celebration. And in my constituency, we were able to do a little independence celebration as well.
And we want to make sure that it happens again this year, that in every constituency, they can celebrate our independence.
So let us move on. We have only 20 minutes left there about gender. Why is gender important, Minister?
Well, gender is cross-cutting. Of course.
Not just woman, is man and I.
Yeah, it's about man and woman.
Right.
Right? And boys and girls. And so one of the first things I did, what's interesting? When we're in government, I made arrangements for the Bureau of Women's Affairs to be renamed the Bureau of Gender Affairs. We lost government. And when I came back, the effort to rebrand had been abandoned. So one of the first things I did when I came back in is to make sure that we formalized the name change. So we now have the Bureau of Gender Affairs.
So gender is man affairs, woman affairs.
That's right. Because it cannot only be about women. Yes, we are at a disadvantage. We've been at a disadvantage. We have to address those issues. But our men also have issues. Our boys have issues. And we have to make sure that we look at what affects man, what affects woman, because it's a family. Ultimately, it's a family. And so we have programs for men, like we'll be celebrating Father's Day in a huge way. We're going to be recognizing and awarding 40 fathers for being great fathers. And on International Men's Day, which is in November, we're going to have a huge award recognizing men who are role models and men who have served this nation.
And this weekend is Father's Day.
Day.
No, nobody remembers Father's Day, no. When it's Mother's Day, I see everybody out and everybody going to Fontana and everything. And Father's Day, me have to say, you remember when is Father's Day?
No, we treat, as a policy, we treat fathers.
So Father's Day is this Sunday.
So Father's Day is this Sunday, and we have a huge event. I'm going to be traveling, so I won't be present, but it will be a really exciting function, and the awards are going to be quite impressive. We have a number of outstanding Jamaican men who will be recognized. And I'm using the opportunity to invite you.
I will try to make it. Try my best. But you spend a lot of money helping persons who are in problems, especially women with their children who have challenges. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the initiatives that you have to help persons who may have challenges, whether they're being abused or those sort of things?
Well, we have 2 shelters up and running, and a third will be ready soon. One in the east, one in the west, and one mid-island.
And we're not going to tell anybody where exactly.
No, shelters are confidential spaces where a woman can be safe.
And their children as well.
And their children. So the main shelter, in fact, we have had babies, pregnant women going in and having their babies while they're there. We also teach them skills, and we find when they are ready to transition out, because we don't want them to go back to the same abusive environment. So we assist them to find alternative accommodation and empower them so that they can be independent. Because many women stay in abusive situations because they have they have to eat, they have to live, they have to survive, they have to take care of the children. And
hold on a second.
Yes.
Just to say to the person, the road from Penance to Kellits is not mine, but I know the government is working very hard to fix it. So just want to make that clear. Sorry about that, Minister Grange, but we have to deal with the misinformation sometimes.
Of course. So you touch a little on your constituency too.
And I'm gonna ask you about your constituency, but I wanted to just run through your portfolio.
So we do have a unit for men, and we have a helpline for men. They can call those numbers. I don't have them handy, but I'll make them available.
Definitely.
And I would ask Love and other media houses to just do PSAs with those numbers, right? Because I think that sometimes a man who gets angry or abusive is because he doesn't have an outlet, he doesn't have anyone to talk to. He might be going through all kinds of challenges. And so counseling is available. So we're going to make those numbers available and ask you to give us give them exposure. But we do health fairs, both for our women and our men. We also have a program which is Women Entrepreneurship program. We call it WEST. So we get funding and give them money to start their little businesses. And we also do training for men in housekeeping, because you have some single fathers out there. And also, men, we encourage them to understand what it is to take care of the house, not just to give money, but also to care for your children and to be as responsible in making sure the home is nice, the place stay good.
Right.
You know how to cook, and we give them certificates at the end of the training.
That's wonderful. You having a festival or some big Jamaica reggae festival, something I hear. I don't remember the exact wording of it, but I hear you're having a big party soon.
Yes. Well, there's so many big parties we have all the time that I'm not sure which one you're talking about. But we're about to give the reggae girls a nice send-off. Right? They're here in camp.
Right.
And they leave around the 20th.
Send off to where, though?
Well, they're going off to the World Cup.
The Women's World
The
Cup.
Women's World Cup.
Oh, wow.
Right? Australia and New Zealand.
Okay.
And we want to make sure that they leave here with a lot of love and a wonderful send-off. So we're planning this event for them. And they're really looking forward to it.
So tell me a little bit about the Reggae Girls. So I know the government does help a lot with sports, the netballers, the Reggae Girls, yes, the cricketers. But this team, the Reggae Girls, Jamaica female football, is very special because we're the most, yes, successful in the Caribbean. Am I right?
Yes, we are. And we have a back-to-back qualification, which is historic.
So they're doing better than the boys? you cannot answer that.
That's a gender question.
So they are going to the World Cup for the second consecutive time.
That's right. And it's most impressive. So we can't take it for granted. We can't treat it lightly. That's a huge achievement.
Right.
And so we are providing them. We committed $20 million, which we already have. We also provide monthly subvention to the Jamaica Football Federation. They get the largest slice of the pie. And so there is that constant resource that we provide for them.
But speaking about that, you said yesterday that you're going to be also giving a subvention to every football association across, yes, the island in every
parish. Yes, we made that decision, and we have actually, I think maybe it's only one that has not yet received,
right?
And it's because they need to formalize certain things. But
that's important though, because
very important, because the parish football associations can't survive,
right,
without some support. And so we have decided that they will also get a subvention. So CASAFA will have a subvention, the St. Catherine Football Association, and all the other associations will, so that at least they can take care of their housekeeping on a monthly basis.
Someone on TikTok asked me to ask you about Catherine Hall, and I think that is in Montego Bay.
Yes. Catherine Hall is of great concern. The parish council was handed Catherine Hall when it was completed. It should have been handed over to Independence Park Limited, but special representation was made.
So your ministry was not in charge of Catherine Hall?
No, and we're still not in charge. It's a parish council. But the parish council does not have the capacity,
the resources,
and the resources.
Right.
And so we are making arrangements to rebuild the track,
right,
to renovate the facilities, but it has to be accompanied with some kind of an MOU that we will have responsibility for its maintenance.
So you're gonna you're gonna take over Catherine Hall and improve it?
Well, I don't want the St. James Parish Council.
You're gonna partner with the parish council.
I don't want them to feel we're taking away anything from them.
Partner.
But I'm really very firm about the fact that we're not going to throw good money after bad.
Right.
We are going to have to ensure that the facility is maintained,
right,
and that it is properly managed. We are ready to do what we have to do. We, in fact, have had several quotations for the track.
Right.
And we flew people in from Germany to look at the track and to do the costings. So we know exactly what to do, and we're ready to do
it. And that is the most important sporting facility in the western
side
of the island.
Yes, it's the only facility certainly for the track and field athlete, and also that is available for professional training. I'm hoping that in the future we'll able to, working along with the business sector in St. James, to establish an aquatic center,
right,
as well. So we have every intention to improve sporting facilities in Western Jamaica.
Right.
But Catherine Hall, we have to have an arrangement with the St. James Parish Council in order to move to the next stage.
So, Minister, before I want to talk to you a little bit about your constituency, but I wanted to ask a question. To what extent do you support like entertainment events and those things? Does the ministry support like the parties that we're seeing around the Sumfest and all of those things?
Well, they don't want to talk, but we give them money.
So you give entertainment events?
We provide sponsorship.
Oh, I never knew that.
And you know what's interesting? When people are thanking sponsors,
they don't thank the government.
They thank everybody else.
So you heard it here. We help to sponsor a lot of these entertainment events.
There's hardly any event,
including gospel shows. Because I know a lot of. Yes. I know you keep one of the best gospel shows.
Yes.
In Jamaica, which is a good segue. What is your constituency, Minister?
My constituency is Central St. Catherine.
Where is that located? Like
my border is King Street, Burke Road.
That's Spanish Town.
In Spanish Town. The bypass. It takes in McCoy Land, Hampton Green,
right.
Gordon Penn, Eltham View, Ensom City. And we border at the Tredegar Park, and we go up to, we border on Angels.
Okay.
Yes.
That's big.
That's big. But the interesting thing, it was bigger than that, but each time my constituency gets densely populated, they take off a piece. They cut off a piece. But my constituency is a hub.
How long have you been MP for your constituency?
Maybe about 25 years. It seemed like forever, eh?
But you still look young.
I'm still young. But you know, I must tell you that I have a special bond and relationship with my constituency. I don't know if others have the same, but I think mine is very special. Everybody was afraid of my constituency. People went there and left. They couldn't manage it. I went there as an inner city woman, inner city girl. No money. As I said to them, look, I come with my empty hands. I come with love, and you are going to work with me, and I work with you to make your lives better. There is still a lot to be done. Infrastructure is in very bad condition. I've done as much as I can, and I continue to make representation. But I've been able to give the people in that constituency hope to the extent that crime has been significantly reduced. When you hear about Spanish Town and crime and murders,
it's not in your side.
It's not in mine. I'm not saying they're angels, and I'm not saying that from time to time things don't happen.
Yeah, because, you know, just like West Kingston, Auntie Babsy, a man was murdered in the police Kingston Western Division, but that is not necessarily
the constituency of West Kingston. That's right.
So when they say there's violence in Spanish Town, it's not necessarily your side of Spanish Town.
Yes, but everybody look at me. But I think I play a significant role in helping to maintain peace. At one time, Bishop Edwards,
Rowan
Edwards, actually gave me an award.
That's the 10,000 man.
That's right.
March. Yes.
10,000 man march. Gave me an award for the work that I have done and the role I played in ensuring peace. You do not have the kind of polarized political confrontation anymore. You know, because I don't operate in my constituency or in the Greater Spanish Town on a political basis.
So for you, it's not JPP?
No, it's not. And they all know that. And that is why I can talk. Sometimes, if there's a problem, on the other side, they call me and ask me to help them to deal with it.
And you can call us here this morning on 968-8327, or you can WhatsApp us at 876-997-3132. That's WhatsApp 876-997-3125, 876-997-3125 for WhatsApp. And you can call the straight line at 876-968-8328. Okay, Ms. Grange, we're in the last stretch of the interview. Tell me, based on all you have seen in Jamaica, and we've listened to various persons giving their opinions, what do you think is the future for Jamaica? What is your outlook for Jamaica? Are you still excited? Are you still energized about the great things that Jamaica has in store for it?
I have great faith and hope in Jamaica and its future.
Right.
I know that I've always been patriotic. I was a Girl Guide. And, interestingly enough, a young age, in those days, they had something called radio and rediffusion. And they'd sign off, I think, at midnight.
Right.
And I'm in my bed and I hear the anthem played and I get up out of my bed and stand to attention.
Right.
That is from where I'm coming.
Right.
And I had many choices, but I choose to be here in Jamaica. And I did not originally want to enter representational politics because I felt that, one, it divides. You have to take a side. And two, once you enter politics, you're going to be used. That broad brush is going to be used on you because everybody who enters politics is considered corrupt. But then I realized that if you do not have a seat at the table as part of the decision making, you could talk till you're blue. You're not going to really get changes made. And so a lot of the people out there who talk a lot and attack politicians and so on, I'm not saying in everything you have good and bad, but you have more good people than bad people. And I am saying that those out there who are genuine about serving your country, political representation is a great area for which you can contribute. And so I'm hoping that with some of the negatives that are out there, it does not discourage the good people from going into representational politics, because this country is a great country.
Well, I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I was saying, look at the people that came in 2020. Just let's use 2020 as an example. Rhoda is as her master. She was a teacher. Tova is an attorney at law. Even before that, in 2016, Orlando Terrelang was an attorney at law. Dave Brown had his own business in Montego Bay. When I came in 2020, I had my background as a journalist. A lot of the people who come into politics are professional people who have decided to give up something in order to serve their country.
Yes.
And, one of the things I think we need to work as a country is to try to encourage more good people who believe in Jamaica and who want the best for Jamaica to come into politics.
Well, I want to add here that it has to be a mix. You have professionals and you have people at the grassroots who know how to represent people, who know how to win elections, who can, because it's a mix. There are maybe those who come in who are professionals but do not understand how to deal with people, who do not understand that it's, yes, you want to serve and you come into it, but it's a dedication that is beyond the call of duty. And so when you have that mix, because I'm so impressed with the young people who have come into politics, Jamaica future looks great, because just like the music industry, that one would say was informal, a lot of people just love to be creative, but they wasn't thinking about the business. And as a result, a lot of our people have lost their copyright because they do not know, they did not protect their works. It's the same way when professionals get involved in the politics, they can bring some structure and some order to organization, but it's a mix. We have to mix that trained individual with, I know a lady who, she can't read and write, but she have one of the most successful grocery shop or supermarket. And when I say, Miss Lou, how you count the money? She said, I don't have education, but I have study ration.
She has study ration.
She has study ration.
And people might wonder, why did I ask you that question? And I've always said to people, one of the things that we have learned, and our leader speaks about it, you cannot lead unless people want to follow. Right? And you have to be able to inspire the confidence of people. So if Miss Grange never had the confidence of this culture sector and the entertainment sector and the sports sector, then she could not be able to come here and speak about it. And if Minister of Finance never had the confidence of the financial sector and a lot of the people in Jamaica, then he would not be able to speak about it. So there's always a connection between the representative who represents a constituency and have thousands of people who have confidence in them, and then the portfolio responsibility that they have, because you cannot lead without followers.
That's right. And you have to set an example as a leader,
right,
to instill confidence in the people so they will follow you.
Miss Grange, it was wonderful. It was rich. I want to thank you very much. I was thinking of begging another hour, but I know you have a flight to catch.
That's right.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Germany. I'm Berlin. I'm going to be. I've been invited to be the global spokesperson for Special Olympics.
Hold on. The global spokesperson. So of all the countries in the world that are in Special Olympics, our Minister of Sport has been asked to be the global spokesperson.
Yes.
We're big and we're proud, not true?
Yeah, we're big and we're proud. And to really inspire the ministers of sports in the region to get more involved in Special Olympics. And Jamaica is really
big with Special Olympics.
That's right. We are the flagship organized country in the region with Special Olympics, and we promote what we call unified sports.
Right.
So we have persons with intellectual disabilities playing with persons who have no disabilities, and they feel equal.
Right.
And it has helped. Mm-hmm. We have this going on in about 14 schools, mm-hmm. and we're going to expand the program so that we can help to provide the kind of support that persons with disabilities need.
Thanks to those on TikTok, thanks to those on social media, thanks to those on Love 101, the family station, and thanks to the Honorable Olivia. I call her Auntie Babsy. I don't care what anybody wants to say.
I want to say hello to everyone who is listening.
Yes.
And just to say that I was there from the beginning when Love started. Right? And I'm really pleased to see how the station has grown. Love FM and also Love TV.
Thank you very much.
And just to say that it's a long story, from way back with Bishop Blair and the team, and getting the license.
I pay a big up here getting the family, But they're now way up there in the top, and I think you're at number 6 now.
Yes.
So they're the 6th most listened to station. But Kukudu is waiting to take us out. Thank you very much, Nadine, and thanks to our listeners. Thanks to our friends on TikTok. Have a wonderful day, and please be safe. Good morning, Minister Kukudu.
Thank you so much.
I hope your man from your band say thank you, Jesus. You'll never be in a mother band. Say